CM Punk and Seth Rollins confirmed for live segments on WWE Raw. CM Punk and Seth Rollins have been announced for live appearances on Monday's episode of WWE Raw. Punk appeared in a taped interview on the previous episode. The pair have been cutting promos on one another in recent weeks. Also confirmed for Raw, which will take place at the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts, is a return to his hometown for Kofi Kingston. He and Xavier Woods of The New Day turned heel on the November 25th episode when they berated former partner Big E, CM Punk vs. Seth Rollins, to no longer happen at WrestleMania 41, exploring the possibility. Since CM Punk returned to WWE at Survivor Series WarGames, fans have been wanting to see him fight Seth Rollins. While the same did not happen in the Second City Saints' first year with the Stanford-based promotion, Rollins and Punk are currently involved in a feud. This rivalry has confused many because it was originally speculated that Punk vs. Rollins would take place at WrestleMania 41. However, since this feud has begun so early, many wonder if it will happen at the show of shows. While there is always a chance it might happen, reports suggest a different story. As per recent reports, a match between CM Punk and Seth Rollins is being targeted for the January 6th edition of Monday Night Raw, which is also the brand's debut on Netflix. Apart from this match, the Red brand's debut on Netflix will witness Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa face each other in a tribal combat match. Hence, it would only make sense that WWE is considering adding a high-stakes match between Punk and Rollins to this card to make things more interesting. While nothing is official yet, it will be interesting to see who would win a potential match between Punk and Rollins if it happens on January 6th. Amidst rivalry with Seth Rollins, the 34-year-old superstar mentions he wants to test CM Punk. Given CM Punk is faced with the prospect of facing a dangerous opponent like Seth Rollins, the best in the world already has a lot on his platter. Despite this, 34-year-old superstar Grayson Waller recently mentioned he wants to test Punk inside the ring. Recently, the former tag team champion was part of an interview with Wide World of Sports. Waller expressed his desire to face Punk and mentioned the guys he respects most are the ones he was going to attack the worst. And that is how he liked showing his respect. Either way, I want to test myself against CM Punk, and I want to be what he used to be. He finally deserves some karma. Remember how he used to act? I want to know how it feels when you get someone on the other side of you. The guys I respect the most are the guys I'm going to attack the worst, because that's how I show my respect. I think in our business now, too many guys are soft and too many guys don't want it and don't work towards it, which kind of makes me sick, he said. While Waller is certainly talented and ambitious, a match against Punk seems impossible right now, given the latter is in a rivalry with Rollins. It's also worth noting that the 46-year-old and Waller are both on different brands, with the former on Raw and the latter on SmackDown. Seth Rollins teaming with Roman Reigns at WWE Survivor Series would be a giant mistake. After all I sacrificed to take that tyrant, Roman Reigns, out of power to tear him down, and now you want me to team with you guys to help build him back up? A dismayed Seth Rollins had every right to be shocked that Sami Zayn would ask him to partner with the Reigns-led OG Bloodline against Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Tanga Loa at Survivor Series WarGames. He had broken his body and sacrificed the World Heavyweight Championship to take down the Tribal Chief at WrestleMania 40, so the idea of working with him to put him back in power as the undisputed head of the table makes no sense. Equally nonsensical would be for the visionary to go back on his word to Zayn and later Solo Sikoa that he will never team with Reigns again. Rollins turned down Sikoa's offer to fight against the OTC, vowing never to partner with Reigns or rip off him. That moment should have ended any connection between Rollins and the Bloodline saga entering Survivor Series. But something about the manner in which Sikoa and company operate, and the fact that another showdown between Rollins and Bronson Reed is slated for next week's main event suggests that may not be the case. Sikoa was disrespected and Fatu immediately stepped forward, ready to rain down on Rollins with a beating if needed. Instead, he was held back, likely because there would be retribution in a grander form, perhaps as early as next week's main event. If that does happen, and it served as the emphasis for Rollins to set aside his issues with Reigns to join his team at Survivor Series on November 30th, it would be a cop-out of major proportions. First, outside of shoehorning guys onto the card, There is no need for 5 men on each team in WarGames. The story doesn't call for it. Reigns, the Usos, and Zayn against Sikoa, Tonga, Loa, and Fatu is the marquee match. Adding to it only waters it down and makes it feel like the story had to fit the contest instead of the other way around. Watering things down has not been a signature of Triple H's time at the creative helm, so it would be surprising for him to go that route now. Secondly, it threatens Rollins' credibility with fans. Everything he told Zayn was correct. He broke his body and lost his title to tear Reigns down. He dredged up old wounds in the form of the Shield's breakup and used the mental advantage he held over the tribal chief to help end his run at the top of professional wrestling at WrestleMania 40. Cody Rhodes referred to Rollins as the MVP of the story-finishing Mania main event on Andrew Schultz's Flagrant podcast, thanks to what he meant to the story and how he put his health second to be a part of it. Rollins does know Reigns better than anyone, and has spent the last 2 years of his career trying to destroy the manipulative monster he created through his betrayal of the Shield a decade ago. All of that is diminished, if not outright ruined, if the Visionary walks back his passionate response to Zayn to partner with the babyfaces, even if there is a reason for him to do so. Based on WWE's booking history, let's assume Sikoa responds to the disrespect by costing Rollins his match with Reed. There is nothing hot or intense enough about either vendetta, either with Sikoa or Reed, that would justify Rollins setting aside years of frustration to suddenly be okay with sharing the ring with Reigns in a tag team environment. It would make the Visionary look like the ultimate hypocrite and undermine everything accomplished earlier in the year. Yes, there is reason to trust the creative process based on everything we have gotten to this point. The fans believe in and trust Rollins. He is a guy whose passion has always shined through, no matter the story or situation. He has earned their respect over the years, both as a villain and babyface, because of the conviction with which he speaks. If you pair him with the OG Bloodline at Survivor Series, after everything he has done and all he said to Zayn, you risk hurting that connection for the sake of a one-off match that does not need to happen in the format that has been teased. Let it be a 4-on-4 showdown. Don't fit others into it and risk harming one of WWE's better story threads and Rollins' clear effect on Reigns and all it can still mean for future narratives. The story is too valuable to waste on WarGames, and